It was my first day at a brand new school, and I was incredibly nervous because I didn't know if I would find any friends. But when I opened the door to my classroom, I was shocked. There were 8 boys staring at me like they had never seen a girl before. The teacher said, "Oh, there she is. As we all know, this was a boys' school until last year, but now we also accept girls. Unfortunately, our school forgot to make a public announcement about it, so we only had 1 female applicant. And here she is." Oh my God, I wasn't sure if this was good or bad news. But during my first break, 2 cute boys came to my table and asked me hundreds of questions. I kinda enjoyed the attention I got. And when I went to buy myself a chocolate milk in the cafeteria, a boy next to me said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll pay for it." Everything was great until we had PE class. I had forgotten my sportswear, so the teacher gave me some old shorts, but they were way too small for my butt, so it really stood out. And of course, all the boys kept looking at it. I felt so uncomfortable, and to make things worse, the teacher made us stretch and all the boys behind me made stupid sounds like "nice" and "ugh." After the class was over, one boy even gave me a compliment, saying I had a great booty. But I hated that. I didn't want anyone to think I was a hoe. After a few weeks, Christopher came up to me on the schoolyard. He was the coolest and most handsome guy in our whole school. He asked me if I wanted to go on a date with him, and I said, "Sure, I would love to." Wow, I felt so special, like I was the only girl in the world with handsome guys fighting all over me. But the date turned into a disaster. We met at a cinema, and he constantly tried to kiss me. I told him it was too fast for me, but he kept on trying. That's why I left the cinema before the movie was over. But when I got to school the next week, there were all kinds of rumors about me and Christopher. One of my classmates asked me if it was true that I had made out with him first, and then gone further inside the bathroom. I responded, "What? That's not true. He tried to kiss me, but it was too fast for me. I guess he's just mad that I rejected him." Luckily, the boys inside my class believed and defended me. They said Christopher had always been a jerk. However, the older guys in my school now all thought I was easy to have, so I constantly got hit on by them. One time, a guy even asked me, "How much do I have to pay you?" I told him to F off, but he said again, "No, seriously, I'll give you $100. I went up to him and kicked him so hard in the nuts that he fell to the ground. Afterward, I went to our principal and told him about the incident. Luckily, I had several witnesses. So the guy did not only get kicked out of our school, but also got prosecuted by the police for trying to pimp out an 18-year-old girl. I would have never expected that this would turn into such a big scandal for our whole school, but that guy had to serve a 2-month sentence inside a youth detention facility, and just because he asked me one stupid question. Otherwise, it's great to be the only girl in an all-boys school. After a while, I chose to go on a date with my classmate Hector. It was a beautiful day in spring, and we sat down on a meadow covered in tall flowers building a wall around us. No one could see us. It was so romantic. Hector whispered, "Who do you like?" And I blushed. I wanted to say, "I like you, Hector. I like you so much." But I was too shy and just shrugged my shoulders. He said, "What if I tell you my crush first, and then you tell me yours?" "Sure," I responded. He said, "I like you." I blushed again, and then he leaned over to kiss me. I didn't resist. I liked it. He was so gentle, and I pressed myself close against him, putting my hands around his strong body, falling into pure sensation. Nothing else mattered anymore. Only to be with him.
Hey, I'm Emma, and 6 months ago, I was dating this really cool guy. His name was Ronaldo, and he was just like Russell Brand. Totally off the wall and always saying crazy things, but also couldn't stop flirting with other girls. But that never bothered me because he said I was the only one for him, and I believed it. When he asked me to be his girlfriend, I was ecstatic, and we immediately moved together. But one day he told me his ex-girlfriend Laura had sent him a message. It said, "I forgive you for everything. I want to get back with you, and I can't live without you." I was glad he showed me the text, but I never expected what came next. He said he wanted me to be his first girlfriend, and he wanted Laura to be his second girlfriend. Wow! Any other guy, I would have said no, but Ronaldo was so damn charming and I was completely addicted to him. That's why I agreed. I just couldn't bear the thought of being without him. And at least I was still the first girlfriend, right? Well, when Laura moved in, it was super awkward. She was gorgeous, just like a model, and straight away, I was worried Ronaldo would get bored with me and only want to be with her. But then Ronaldo introduced us to each other, and I don't want to go into the details. Anyway, you can imagine how crazy it all was. But then the problem started. Laura was always trying to get Ronaldo to tell me to leave so she could be alone with him. It drove me nuts. We were always arguing over how much time we would each have with him. Of course, Ronaldo loved that we were fighting over him. He always had a smirk on his face when we were arguing, and he always said, "Don't worry, ladies, there's enough of me for both of you." But then one day she accidentally put my colored and white clothes into the same washing load, ruining all my white clothes. I was furious. I stopped talking to her and did something very bad with her toothbrush, but I'd better not tell you what I did with it. But let's just say I did it more than once. In the end, none of it mattered, because soon after, Ronaldo broke up with both of us. He said he had to move on, but I knew he just grew tired of us. I was upset, but part of me was also relieved. I didn't have to deal with sharing my boyfriend anymore. But here's the thing about Ronaldo. I always kind of knew our relationship wasn't going to last forever. He's just not the kind of guy you settle down and build a family with. But still, I don't regret staying with him for as long as I did. He was always clear about what he wanted, never lied to me, and I had a lot of fun. If everyone was like Ronaldo, the world would be chaos. But still, I wish more guys were as free-spirited as him. It's so sexy, and life was never boring with him. Today, I still miss him, but I've already accepted that I'll never meet someone like him again. But that's life, I guess. You can't have everything, but luckily you also don't need everything to live a happy life. I think that finding Mr. Perfect is impossible. Everyone has flaws. I know I do. I don't work out, I eat crappy food, I'm really grumpy first thing in the morning. So instead of worrying about finding the perfect guy, I'll look for someone who treats me well and who's interested in a serious long-term relationship. When I was a little girl, I was always trying to get my dad's attention. I would make drawings of us going on adventures together, and I showed them to him. But he never really took any notice. Sometimes he'd say, "Good job," but I could tell he only said it so I'd be quiet and stop bothering him. But there was one day in the year where we would do something together. On the 20th of December, he'd take me into the forest to cut a Christmas tree. We'd spend ages picking out the perfect one, and it was always a very special day for me. I treasured those moments with him. But then, one year he came home with a fake plastic Christmas tree, and my heart just broke. Mom sat down with me and told me Dad had a drinking problem, which is why he couldn't spend time with me. But just because you're an alcoholic doesn't mean you can't love your children. He spent more and more time away from home until he eventually stayed away completely. Mom was forced to admit they'd broken up and Dad had moved out. I sent my dad a few texts, but he never responded. We were still Facebook friends, though, and a month or so later he posted a photo of him and his new girlfriend. I wanted to know more about her, so I found her profile. I mean, she might become my stepmom. That's when I learned she had a daughter the same age as me. I was devastated. It felt like he wanted her to be his daughter instead of me. It wasn't all bad. At least Mom seemed happier now Dad wasn't around anymore. They'd screamed at each other every night for years, and it was nice to live in peace. I wish I could see Dad sometimes, though. I missed him so much. I tried to forget about him, but I couldn't. I mean, you can't forget about your dad, right? Although he never tried to get in touch with me, I was constantly checking Facebook for information about him, his girlfriend, and her daughter. Things seemed pretty boring until December came. Dad put up a video of them going to cut a Christmas tree together. They all seemed so happy, as if they were meant to be together. And it made me feel like I didn't deserve to be loved, like he loved his new family. I'll never forget that Christmas because my mom had to work at the hospital, which left me alone for most of the time. All I could think about was what Dad would be doing. I'd bought a present for him, but I wanted to give it to him myself, and I didn't know if I'd ever see him again. It hurt to see my friends posting pictures of Christmas with their families when no one had time for me. Mom came home as early as she could, and we ate Christmas dinner before watching a movie together. It was quiet, but nice. For a long time, I thought there was something wrong with me, and it was my fault my father didn't love me. That's why I always felt completely worthless growing up. Now I understand that the opinions of others, especially someone like my dad, aren't important. I always tried so hard to make him notice me, and he wasn't worth it. I know I'm a good person because I care about others and treat them with respect. That's who I am, and neither my dad nor anyone else can take that away from me.